Hello students, in the previous session we have discussed about state of the system, state function, path function, then thermodynamic equilibrium and some types of the thermodynamic processes, right? In that we have discussed about isothermal process, isobaric process, isochoric process, adiabatic process and cyclic processes. In today's session we are going to discuss about other two types of thermodynamic processes. They are reversible and irreversible processes. What are reversible processes and irreversible processes? In thermodynamics, reversible process means a process which takes place at infinitesimally slow rate. Infinitely slow rate, okay? The process which takes place at infinitely slow rate is the reversible process. That means it takes infinite time for the completion. It's a very slow process. It takes place at infinitesimally slow rate and takes infinite time for the completion. To explain this, I'll take an example. I'll consider a container in that which is filled with some gas and it is fixed with the piston. Your gas is there. It is a piston. And on the piston, I'll place large number of small weights. Okay. For example, 1000 numbers of 0.01 gram of weight. Okay. I'll place large number of very small weights. Here, the pressure exerted from the outside on the piston is external pressure. And the pressure exerted by the gas from the inside on the piston is internal pressure. When the external pressure and internal pressure are equal, then the piston is at rest. It does not move outwards or inward. Okay. That means the system, we can say then the system is in equilibrium. Okay. When the external pressure or internal pressure changes, then the piston moves. If external pressure decreases, the piston moves upward. If the internal pressure decreases, the piston moves downward. Okay. Here, if I remove one weight at a time, I have placed thousands of very small weights. Okay, 0.01 gram weight, for example. If I remove only one weight, then what will happen? The external pressure decreases by very small quantity. Let's say dP. Very negligible quantity of pressure decreases outside. Okay, when the negligible quantity of pressure decreases, then the piston moves upward to a negligible distance, very negligible distance. We cannot even see that. Okay, very negligible distance, the piston moves upward. When the piston moves upward, what happens? The pressure inside the container, that is internal pressure, also decreases by the same quantity dP, very small quantity dP. Then again the external pressure and internal pressure becomes equal and the system again becomes equilibrium. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಕಂಟೈನರ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀನಿ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಪಿಸ್ಟನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಪಿಸ್ಟನ್ ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವೇಟ್ ಬಟನ್ಸ್ ನ ಇಟ್ಟಿದೀನಿ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ವೇಟ್ ಬಟನ್ಸ್ ನ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ವೇಟ್ ಬಟನ್ ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಡಿಪಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ, ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪಿಸ್ಟನ್ ಅಪ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಬಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಪಿಸ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಪ್ ಸೈಡ್, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು? ಸೇಮ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಡಿಪಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಗೇನ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ರಿವರ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್, in every step there is always equilibrium exists. Equilibrium state exists. In every step in the reversible process there will be equilibrium state exists. Okay, so this is about the reversible process. In reversible process, the difference between the driving force and the opposing force is very negligible. What is this driving force? What is this opposing force? For any processes, there will be two forces are there. One is driving force. Driving force is a force which is responsible for the process to take place. Opposing force is a force which opposes the process. Okay. In reversible process, the difference between driving force and opposing force is very negligible. Hence, we can reverse the process at any time. Okay. This is about the reversible process. What is reversible process? The process which takes place at infinitesimally slow rate. It takes infinite time for the completion. Is called reversible process. In reversible process, at every step, equilibrium maintained, and the difference between driving force and opposing forces is very negligible. Okay. In life, for example, if you want to change, something change agbeku antandre, small step alli new changes aagta hodre, you can return to the initial state frequently. You can return to the initial state easily. ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಗ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಸರಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಗೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ರಿವರ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಎನಿ ಟೈಮ್. ಬಟ್ irreversible process is different. What is irreversible process? Irreversible process is opposite to the reversible process. In irreversible process, the process takes place at a single step. It takes place at once. Okay, the process which takes place at a single step, in a single step. That means at once it takes place. It consumes a finite time. Okay, for the completion of the process, it takes finite time. Here, I will consider the same example. I will take the container filled with the gas and fitted with the piston. On the piston, there are large number of weight buttons are there. Okay. In the initial state, this system is in equilibrium. The external pressure and internal pressure are equal. Here, if I remove all the weight buttons at once, what will happen? The piston will suddenly move upwards, will suddenly move to the considerable distance. Okay. When I remove all the weight buttons at once, then the piston suddenly moves upward. In a single step, it moves upward, and the internal inside the pressure decreases. Inside pressure also decreases. Here, large quantity of pressure decreases. Hence, it is represented by delta P. Delta P. Here we took dP, right? dP means very small quantity of pressure decrease. Here I mentioned delta P. That means large quantity of pressure decreases. Hence the piston moves upward in a single step. So this is the irreversible process. And in irreversible process, equilibrium maintained in initial state and final state. Okay, but during the process there is no equilibrium. In reversible process case, at every step there is equilibrium, but in irreversible process, in the initial state and in the final stage there will be equilibrium, but during the process there is no equilibrium. And in irreversible process, the difference between driving force and opposing force, the difference between the driving force and opposing force is large, is very much large. Hence we cannot reverse the process. Here in reversible process, the difference between driving force and opposing force is very less, it's negligible. Hence we can reverse the process at any time. Here it is very large, we cannot reverse the process. And all the naturally occurring processes are irreversible in nature. This reversible process is the ideal concept. That means reversible processes are the imaginary processes. Imaginary processes. In day-to-day life, we cannot see the perfect reversible process. They are imaginary because they take infinite time for the completion. Hence, they are not the real processes. They are imaginary processes. But all the naturally occurring processes are irreversible processes. All naturally occurring processes are irreversible in nature. For example, water falling from higher place to lower place, or raining, or the growth of human from infancy to childhood and to adulthood. So these are all natural processes. They are all irreversible in nature. All the natural processes, they are irreversible in nature. So this is all about reversible and irreversible processes. I hope you understood this well. Now let's discuss the other concept in this chapter, that is internal energy. What is internal energy? Every system has some matter in it, and that matter associated with some kind of energies, definite amount of energies. The internal energy means sum total of all the types of energies present in the system. Sum total of all the types of energies. All types of energies present in the system. Is called internal energy. Sum total of all the types of energies present in the system is called internal energy. And internal energy is represented by the letter U, capital U. So U is equal to E translational plus E electronic plus E vibrational plus kinetic energy plus potential energy plus etc. Any type of energy. Okay. In system, there may be a translational energy or electronic energy, vibrational energy or bonding energy or kinetic energy, potential energy, whatever may be the energy present in the system. The sum total of all the types of energies is called internal energy. Okay. And delta U is change in internal energy. Change in internal energy. That means it's the difference of UF minus UI. Final internal energy minus initial internal energy is called change in internal energy. Now let us see the characteristics of internal energy. Characteristics. Now let's see the characteristics of this internal energy. Characteristics. The first characteristic is internal energy is an extensive property. Extensive property. What are extensive properties? We have discussed about extensive properties in our previous classes, right? The properties of the system which depends on the size of the system or quantity of matter present in the system are called extensive properties. Here, internal energy is an extensive property. It depends on the size of the system or quantity of the matter present in the system. The second characteristic is internal energy is a state function. Internal energy is a state function. What are state functions? State functions or the state variables whose value depends only on the initial and final state of the system but not on the path between them, right? So here internal energy is a state function, it's not a path function. And the third characteristic is change in internal energy is equal to 0 for cyclic process. For any cyclic process, change in internal energy is 0. We have discussed about cyclic process in our previous classes. For a cyclic process, change in any state function is 0. Here, internal energy is a state function, hence delta U is 0. Why? Because in a cyclic process, the initial state and final state both are same. Hence, if we take the difference, that will be 0. And the fourth characteristic is internal energy directly proportional to temperature. That means, if temperature increases, internal energy of the system also increases. If temperature decreases, internal energy of the system also decreases. And if fifth point is internal energy can be changed when internal energy can be changed in three ways. In three ways we can change the internal energy of the system. What are those? First one is by supplying heat. By supplying heat to the system or removing heat from the system. Or removing heat from the system. And the second way is by work done on the system or work done by the system. Through work done, we can change the internal energy of the system. And the third way is by providing matter. So by adding matter to the system or by removing some matter from the system. So internal energy can be changed. Internal energy of any system can be changed either by applying heat or removing the heat to the system from the system, or by work done on the system or by the system, or another way is by adding matter or by removing the matter. Among these three ways, these two ways, that means by heat and work, these two are the most common ways to change the internal energy of the system. Now let's discuss about this heat and work in this chapter. What is heat? Heat is the form of energy which flows from one system to another system when there is a temperature difference. It is called heat. Heat is usually represented by a small q or capital Q. In some of the textbooks it is represented by small q, in some other it is represented by capital Q. Here the important point is sign convention of heat. Sign convention. What is the sign convention? Sign convention means whenever we have to take the positive for Q or whenever we have to take the negative for Q. The Q is positive when the heat is absorbed by the system. When heat is absorbed by the system. That means when heat enters from the surrounding to the system, then we have to take it as positive. And heat is negative, Q is negative when heat is evolved from the system. That means evolved from the system. That means when heat exits from the system to the surrounding, then we have to take negative. So these two are the sign conventions for heat. Now let's discuss about work. What is work? Work is said to be performed or said to be done when the point of application of force displaced in the direction of applied force. That means ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೀಟ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. Okay, they simply mention the definition. Here the definitions are not at all important. What is important is the sign conventions. In both heat and work, the sign conventions are important. Now work is usually represented by W. Let's see the sign conventions for work. When the W is positive, when the W is negative. Work is taken as positive when work is done on the system. When work is done on the system. And W is taken as negative when the work is done by the system. Work is done by the system. Okay, this is the sign convention for work. So this is the sign convention for work. Here you have to remember the sign conventions. This is helpful in while solving numericals. Okay, both heat and work, the SI unit is joule. This is all about the heat and work.